everyone, Judy from Orange Purple Passions, My Healing LLC, and founder and executive director of 5 Purple Oranges, the charity I founded after my son and I were hit by a truck in Dodge County and he was killed. So you guys have, if you followed me at all in my Hit by a Truck series, and if you haven't, check out on here. I have a watch list of all my hit by a truck. I talk about my transition from victim, for lack of victim, survivor, my journey to finding my faith, my journey through finding my purpose. And at the end of it all, I knew, although I still had work to do, I thought I was settled. I thought, oh, I've got my purpose now. I'm working towards that. I'm living that life, and whatever that might bring, I'm going to create this battle board and map out my goals and what have you. And I'm in the middle of a week of upheaval for the charity, good upheaval for the charity, and also my personal business sort of came to a head. And then I added another task onto my list, and I realized that nothing I am now currently doing to fulfill my purpose brings in any sort of financial reward. However, I'm laughing about it because it's kind of insane to me, but it's all good, and I'll tell you why. So I was chatting with a friend, and he had said that he had never thought in the terms of long-term goals and had never worked to long-term goals. And I was saying, oh no, that's great. I was really pleased actually after hearing what one of his goals was, because I see that future for him as well. And I said, I had made this point that, well, I found my purpose. I'm not making any money. And he had said something, see, now I gotta look it up, guys. Sorry, should be prepared. Happiness is priceless, which I love. And my snarky answer was, what's happiness? But it's so true. So I'm thinking about it, and one of the things I keep adding to my plate, and at the time, every time I add something on my plate that I look at as a distraction, I relish the distraction because it prevents me from facing decisions I have to make. But this time, what I thought might be the distraction feels more strongly connected to what I'm supposed to be doing and my purpose. Allow me to explain. So you guys know I founded 5 Purple Oranges after Alon was killed. We work with children in the areas of reading, nature, art, music, and skateboarding, or alternative sports, all because that's who Alon was. And the number 5 was super important to us because that was Alon's favorite number. And those were the 5 most important things in his life. Well, aside from me, of course. I mean, there's some things in there, like one of our grants, we sponsored some cookbooks for a Cooking with Cops class, but they're books, and Alon loved to cook, so it fits into our reading initiative. So we might blur the lines here or there with those 5, but in general, those were the 5 loves of Alon's life. And I started working with a new social media team. I'm not ashamed to say it, because I hadn't, although this had been my purpose, I had been fighting against, in many ways, the charity being my purpose, because as I've said to you guys before, I don't like the feeling of falling into things. And it's funny that I mentioned that friend about the goal. I think that's been his life as well. Oh, I'm good at this. Someone thinks I should do this, and he sort of falls into it and makes a success out of it. I strongly feel that that's been my life. My fallings have not been as successful as his. But although creating a legacy for Alon and growing a legacy for Alana is huge for me and a great, huge part of my legacy, my purpose. I didn't want to be be the only thing. And I had so much to offer in so many other ways. In my wellness business, I love taking care of my clients. But I found that the part of the business that I would have to force myself to do, normally the part that you love overshadows the part that you are forced to do. And in this case, I wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting enough out of the part that I love to overshadow the parts that I don't love. And I could not say the same for the charity. As I grew into my role as executive director, parts of it that I might not have loved as much were completely overshadowed by the stuff that I love. Going to talk with the kids, getting their thank you notes, choosing to give joy to these or other organizations or create programs out of the blue that help children. I mean, that is, who wouldn't enjoy that? So I have found that has become truly my purpose and my path, and I feel positive about it, to the point where I'm making a very small, I wouldn't even call it salary, but I run the charity, have to get paid. If this weren't my purpose, if this weren't the path I was choosing, I felt like I had fallen into it, that would have been starting to bother me. But it actually doesn't bother me. It feels like, oh, that's icing on the cake. I'm doing this great thing. I'm loving doing it. Oh my gosh, I get paid for it too. That's awesome. So, as I said, like, I've made that piece of my charity, but as I was leading up to that path, I was falling in and out of these other, sorry for the edit, my camera's acting up. So although I made this choice now and feel confident in my choice about the charity being my path and my purpose, the entire time leading up to that, for about a year, although I was working on my wellness business, I was also, again, doing these other little distractions, travel being one of them, but that wasn't so much it was a distraction. And doing a lot of jobs for my mom, helping her with lots of different things, including renovating her house. And I do enjoy that work. And there came a point in time, though, when I started feeling guilty. I'm doing all this work. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I can't turn this into anything, but it's also pulling me away from my work. And so now I'm not being fair to myself, and I'm not earning my keep, so to speak. And the latest activity, so back to, we've hired this new social media team for the charity, because there's many things that I am not an expert in. And I'm always wanting to learn, and I want to improve what we're doing. Well, those same people we just hired now to help with my mom. What happened was my mom I'm sorry, I've got like fuzz stuck to my lip gloss. Joys. The perils of loving sticky glosses. Fenty, by the way. Rihanna Fenty. But underneath, the pink underneath, just in case you're wondering, is Kat Von D, but the sort of creamy, snowy white on top is Fenty. I do love my Rihanna. So my mom, I'm sorry, you guys. My mom is a writer. She's a published author. And when my grandmother had died, I'd gone to my grandmother's house, and I had taken some of the books of the covers that I know my mom had either had at her house and recently just given away, or had there, but I just never bothered to pick up. But they were covers that I didn't have, and I thought, I'll bring them home, I'll add them to my collection, I'll put them up on my bookcase. I don't think you can see them, but they're above the Alon stuff, the Snuggles hats. And I had posted a picture about it, and after doing that, people that I just assume knew about my mom, or I guess, you know, friends, sometimes you don't ask what your friends' parents do, especially at my age. Oh, your mom's a writer. And I'm like, yeah. And then it dawned on me that these people are like reading her books. She's had new books that she hasn't published yet. And her Amazon page is a hot mess. And her Facebook page is a hot mess. And she would get comments on there and people like who love her work, but she had no way of responding. And I'm like, this is, first of all, this is not you. Like, she's never going to want to do that. I didn't want to take it on. And she is writing all this new stuff, all this new poetry. So I've been working now to revamp her brand and get her up and running. And I was joking around, like, I'm doing all this work for you, Mom. I need to get paid. And it was totally joking. I took this upon myself because I know how she is. And I actually really enjoy it. And I'm really happy for her. So at the end of the day, I don't look at it as a distraction. So I think it's my way of doing something worthwhile where I feel like I'm adding to my legacy, adding to our legacy, because this really truly fulfills my mom's purpose and creates the legacy that she deserves. And her legacy can only then turn into, at the end of the day, help 5 Purple Oranges, because the more books she sells, that money just goes in her will to our charity. So it comes full circle. Not the reason I'm doing it, but I did notice this time things felt different. This time I wasn't feeling guilty that I wasn't working as much this month on my Orange Purple Passions business, and I was putting so much time into 5 Purple Oranges. I felt fantastic about it, and I think that's a sign that I might need to be letting a few more things go. I'm not great at multitasking. None of us are. We like to pretend we are, but no one is. And so although I joked with my friend about happiness, what is that? This is bringing me a measure of joy. So I can't wait to share with you over the next couple months the progress we're making with 5 Purple Oranges, the progress I'm making with my mom's relaunch and her new brand. And I really, again, appreciate all the love. I can't do any of it without you. Please like, subscribe, share. Know that I'm probably not going to do as many videos on here about my story. I have continued to keep up the Sheriff Sunday brand because that is a huge part of my life right now. I just strongly believe in advocating for what is right. And you know what? In fact, that'll be a whole nother video series sometime soon, I'm sure. So again, I'll put all my links below, subscribe, share. I appreciate the love, and I thank you for watching.